So welcome everybody to the session of SAP Business Data Cloud on how to fuel AI with SAP data, basically. And this session is about on how we best integrate SAP together with Databricks capabilities in a way that was not out there before and something that was highly anticipated by customers so far. So I assume now that you are sitting here in this session, you somehow have any touch points with SAP in your company, right? So if I may do a little ask here, who is operating ERP or SAP line of business data in its company? Well, yeah, some of them, exactly. Yeah. And this is why it's so interesting also for the folks and the audiences that we do have here at the Databricks Summit, because we see a huge adoption within our customer base at SAP to also adopt the capabilities that Databricks brings into the game. Yeah. And in order to explain that will be also one of the key motivations for SAP to reshape its architecture, its analytics architecture, the way it now is and the way it was out there before. Yeah. So what we observed over the last years is even within our SAP customer base that world became hybrid. Yeah? So in our customer base, the world is not only SAP-centric, but lots of customers are also adopting technologies that are coming outside of the SAP world, and those technologies are also generating massive amounts of data. Yeah? And this picture is already also 3 to 4 years old, but I like always to take it here because it describes the reality we are facing in the market currently, that there are huge data assets being generated outside of the SAP systems meanwhile. However, on the other side, if you are familiar with SAP, typically our customers steer their companies and their enterprises based upon SAP data, yeah? Meaning the most valuable KPIs are typically generated in SAP systems. Revenue, margins, stock levels, all these kind of things typically come from an SAP system. Yeah? And the value of the data is actually can be increased to the maximum if you are combining non-SAP data together with SAP data, because often also the KPIs that are generated in the SAP systems can be explained with non-SAP data that is generated somewhere else, and that is often processed in, for example, Databricks technology. If you think about across all kinds of industries, if you think about consumer products or retail industry, social media analytics, clickstream, weblog analytics, all these kind of things can explain why, for example, revenue behavior of certain articles in your e-commerce scenarios are the way they are, right? Or logistics, if you consider weather data and all these kind of things. Yeah? So the combination of SAP data together with non-SAP data brings maximum value and maximum insights. And this brought challenges to our customers in order to get the data together efficiently. And typically, customers were following patterns of heavy data extraction and data replication, redundancies, and these kind of things. And this is something that we want to overcome with the new platform of SAP Business Data Cloud to get these two worlds together. And especially Databricks plays an important role here because we have observed in the market that capabilities that Databricks brings into our customers' IT organizations are heavily anticipated also to be deployed on SAP data. So the whole area of pro-code data engineering, machine learning, AI, etc. on SAP data is something that our customers adopted Databricks to a vast extent. Also other solutions of the hyperscaler portfolio, right? So we are not only talking about Databricks, of course here very centric, but also Snowflake, AWS, Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure are of course technologies that are used by our customers meanwhile. But out of all these technologies, we see a big adoption of Databricks in the market, and Databricks is a perfect fit into our portfolio because it fulfills also a white spot we had in previous architectures. And this is why we also reshaped our architecture also from a strategy perspective by taking away also the needs and the challenges our customers were facing in those hybrid environments. And this is where the overall strategy of SAP Business Data Cloud comes into play. So for those who are familiar with the overall SAP strategy, with the intelligent enterprise strategy, with business technology platform, with the cloud ERP suite, that's actually where also SAP Business Data Cloud now comes into play, and it grows much stronger together with the transactional systems which actually generates the data. Yeah? And we will take away the need for our customers to integrate SAP data into the environments of their choice. And in this case here, we are talking about Databricks without the need to replicate and integrate data manually. And this is where the title of this session here also comes along, which is SAP Data Products, which we will provide out of the box for consumption in Databricks. And that's what you will also see throughout the session here. So the overall strategy that SAP is following, this AI first and suite first strategy, is now complemented by the platform of SAP Business Data Cloud, because we strongly believe we need one holistic and single data platform, which is then also the basis for everything AI. Yeah? So in the past, our customers' motivation to also extract data was for the use case of processing AI use cases, machine learning use cases on the SAP data, and that was something that was basically extracting data out of the lowest layer here, the SAP applications on various levels. Now the challenges our customers had with that one was that these SAP line of business solutions for logistics, for supply chain, as you can see it, for HR, for spend, they're all desperate. Yeah, so there was not a single, we are coming from an ERP world which was based on SAP ECC, which is based on ABAP. Yeah? Now we complemented this business suite over the years with technologies that were acquired from Concur, from SuccessFactors, from Ariba, Fieldglass, and so on. And they were all different technology stacks, yeah? Different databases, different technology stacks. So one solution was cloud-based with REST API available. The other one was OData. The other one was RFC calls, and so on. So this made it quite complex to integrate all of these business data into a single platform. Even for us at SAP, yeah, we had to admit that this was a challenge even to integrate in our legacy world, coming from the classical SAP BW, for example, yeah, or even the predecessor products like DataSphere and so on. Yeah, we had a hard time integrating those, and this is now something which we are overcoming with Business Data Cloud, and the real evolution of that architecture concept comes and starts actually in the sources of the data. Yeah? And those sources of the data are, of course, S/4HANA as the ERP system, Concur, Ariba, SuccessFactors, and so on across the complete LOB. And all of those applications will generate what we call data products, meaning semantically rich data sets, which we will, on behalf of the customer, ingest into that analytical platform, ready for consumption for our customers out of the box. And to the consumption parts I'm coming to, yeah, but of course one important consumption pattern is the whole topic of data engineering, pro-code, AI, ML, besides the classical, let's say, reporting stacks that our customers, of course, have as a requirement. Yeah? So also in the past, that was a big motivation to extract data out with all the challenges with data pipelining and so on and so forth to expose the SAP data for these kind of workloads. Yeah? And those are the two big analytical workloads we see at enterprises. Yeah? There are probably some more, but the one topic is classical enterprise BI and reporting on the one side, and everybody believed SAP could do that. Yeah? We have a long history over decades to serve those needs, but the second big workload, AI, ML, pro-code engineering, was something where we had white spots in the past. And now that's where Databricks comes into the game, and this is why we have also complemented SAP Business Data Cloud with Databricks as an OEM version as part of our platform, so customers can now deploy Databricks workloads within one single unique platform. And we will also cater for, of course, existing customers that have Databricks already and that have invested in those platforms already. Yeah? And this is also something you will see as part of the presentation. But the first big innovation is SAP will ingest data on behalf of the customer and integrate data manually into the analytical platform with highly curated data sets, which go far beyond, let's say, raw tables or the source system data. And that's what you can see here in the middle. Those are the data products, and the data products approach we are following across the complete line of business portfolio that SAP provides, which is then, in the end, also the basis for SAP Business AI. Yeah? And again, that's also something worthwhile emphasizing. Everything SAP does in that area of data engineering, of technology, etc., is always related to our data which our systems generate. Yeah? We are not competing with Databricks as a technology platform, nor do we compete with Snowflake, AWS, and Azure. Yeah? Everything we are doing is very centric on our business data and our source systems, and that's why we also call our solutions, of course, Business AI, Business Data Cloud, because it's business data that is being in the focus of the processing here. And that slide describes basically our core strategy now since the beginning of the year, right? So it's about the cloud ERP suite, the applications, that's our DNA, our heritage, where we are coming from. Yeah? Business AI is also something we are following to apply artificial intelligence, generative AI, agent frameworks, etc., on the SAP data. And then for that, in order to achieve this and make maximum benefit of that, we now establish one single platform which is holding all SAP data a customer is actually operating, and of course also with the option to integrate non-SAP data as required, but that's of course highly individual. Yeah? In modern data fabric, data mesh concepts, we want to position Business Data Cloud as the layer for everything that's SAP data. That's our first target and our first goal here. Yeah. And for that one, customers should not be needing to integrate SAP data manually via extractors. They should not worry about which interface do I use, REST API, OData, RC, or whatsoever. They will get data from SAP out of the box as part of the platform. And you will also be able to, in a zero-copy way, consume this data with Databricks workloads in the future. Yeah, and that's also the second big value proposition of that platform. It will be as easy as never before to consume SAP data in Databricks, yeah, without redundancies, without replications, and so on. So that's the overall strategy we are following here. And for those who are familiar with SAP, the legacy portfolio that we had in the area of data and analytics, you can now see what the platform comprises of. And we are, of course, reusing technologies that have been out there and proven and mature now in the market, and we have enhanced those with key capabilities, which we think will solve lots of challenges of our customers. Yeah? So the first big innovation that we are also bringing in there as part of the platform is the layer that you can see above the source systems here. So SAP has basically two approaches, and the direction and the strategy here is SAP will provide source systems in the cloud, operated by SAP on hyperscaler infrastructure on behalf of the customer. Yeah? So we are getting also away from the classical on-premise deployments of our customers in ECC, in BW, and so on. So everything is purely cloud-centric now also for SAP. Yeah? But however, the reality with our customers is, of course, not every customer is there yet. Yeah? If we are talking about those large enterprise customers out there nowadays, like the Nestlés of this world, the Exxons of this world, Apple, and you name it, right? For them, it's a big transition also to move the classical ERP stack into the cloud, multi-year, even decade-long projects, right? And that's the reality. And that's why we need to cater for, of course, also those customer patterns who have hybrid deployments for a while, but also those customers, of course, should be enabled to make maximum use of their data already while on their move to the cloud. So what we are doing, and that's what I explained, is we are bringing SAP managed source system data into Business Data Cloud. And the innovation is here that the first layer of persistency will not be HANA. Yeah? Those of you who are familiar with SAP technology, everything was based upon in-memory technology, which we called HANA, SAP HANA, High Performance Analytical Appliance. Yeah? That's where that name comes from. But everything was in-memory based in the past. BW on HANA, BW for HANA, DataSphere based upon HANA Cloud. Yeah? So everything was very SAP HANA-centric, in memory only, but having observed this massive data growth that our customers are facing, yeah, in the area of data and analytics, we now realized also in-memory only technology is not the way to go. And this is why we introduced also object store technology to get data for analytical purposes into the platform, and from there on put an acceleration layer on top to process the data efficiently. And that acceleration layer is, in our world, for everything that is classical enterprise reporting and BI, is DataSphere and Analytics Cloud. Yeah? And for everything that is like custom AI, ML, data engineering workloads, that acceleration layer is Databricks as part of the platform. Because once we landed the data in the object store, we are putting an open table format and protocol on top of that, which is delta table. Yeah? And delta table is then enhanced with the data share protocol in order to expose the data to consuming applications. And you know, Databricks have open sourced those protocols, and we are also now reusing that. And with that one, we can expose the data in a zero-copy fashion to consuming applications. Yeah? And as I mentioned before, those consuming applications are, in our world, classical enterprise reporting BI, and also the SAP Databricks piece as part of the platform, one single platform, one single contract, one single support model, object store based, highly TCO optimized, and highly scalable. Yeah? That's the value proposition. And that's a big paradigm shift for SAP in the end, yeah? Because the last 10 to 15 years, everything was HANA based. But we also realized we needed to change massive data growth and also open source technology that is highly adopted by our customers. And this is why we introduced object store technology here. Yeah. Also, the open data ecosystem is, of course, something that's worthwhile mentioning. And on the very top, you can see, of course, Databricks. So we have architecture patterns, of course, for customers who are Databricks customers already. And everything I'm saying will also hold true for Databricks legacy installations of our customers, because we will integrate as part of our partnership with Databricks the same way we will integrate also with the SAP managed offerings that we are bringing as part of the platform here. Yeah. And of course, we will also be able to integrate non-SAP data into the platform for customers that are looking for one single data platform, also incorporating maybe non-SAP technology. And that was also something we discussed a lot in the past, in the last years. Why would you put non-SAP data into in-memory technology for processing, where you would need to model everything yourself anyways, right? But now all of a sudden, this can become attractive again because we are talking object store. Yeah, and we're having discussions with large customers now who think about, well, this can now be also attractive to incorporate non-SAP data, yeah, because we are talking about these highly TCO-optimized major persistency layer and getting into that SAP-centric lakehouse approach, yeah, by decoupling the storage and the compute layers from each other, which was not the case in the past. Yeah, and it's also very important to understand that this is now a game changer actually for many customers, because it makes it now very attractive again to also bring maybe all the data into one place, and at the same time being able to work with the tooling of their choice on that data. Yeah, because that was something that was always cumbersome and something that now with the Databricks partnership is reaching a new level. So when we are talking about now SAP data, then we are talking now about SAP data products. And SAP data products are highly curated, semantically rich data sets, which shall be available ready for consumption, which are very consumer-oriented, meaning the end users in an enterprise, they should be able to consume those data assets in a very meaningful way, without the need to curate it manually and to process it upfront in order to make maximum use and get maximum insights out of it. And that's what we call data product. The whole data product approach is, of course, nothing that is new. A couple of years ago, you know, when those whole data mesh concepts evolved, then the concept of a data product, meaning taking a data asset and treating it as a product in a retail shop maybe was a good idea, because you can put a life cycle behind it. Maybe if the product is not attractive, you can take it off the shelf, and these kind of concepts, that's what we are also following here. Yeah? But this is now also something where we are putting our knowledge about our data sets into, by creating data products that can also potentially then being derived from multiple ERP systems. Yeah? So think about maybe a use case, a business use case, where you would require data from the ERP system together with data from the HR system, and maybe from a system which is handling contingent workers, yeah, for an HR case. Then that one can be deployed as a data product by us, by SAP, out of the box as a derived data product to be consumed then via the various consumers. So SAP brings data products automatically into the platform, ready for consumption, of course, always with the capability to also be extended, enhanced, you know, all these kind of extensions our customers are putting into the system, because in the end, SAP is still a provider of standard software, and every enterprise and company differentiates themselves by also extending their own data models in addition to what SAP delivers out there out of the box. So that's the first, that's the use case that we are following here first now with S/4HANA from a roadmap perspective, but that will be extended then throughout the complete line of business suite, meaning all line of business solutions of SAP will provide data products on various levels ready for consumption. And of course, as we are here with Databricks, one important consumption pattern is, of course, exposing that data in a zero copy also to Databricks workloads, and that as easy as never before, without replication, without data extraction on various levels, and without the need to prepare the data prior to even using that, right? So as you will also see in one of the slides, we are trying to take away the need to maybe create and model a silver layer or bronze or gold layer data product by providing that one out of the box, so that the manual effort to enhance, extend it until you can execute your use case on that should be minimized, by providing as much as standard as possible. And the technology, and I just mentioned that, we will put the data into object store technology in form of Parquet files, CSV files, and we are putting delta table, delta share protocols on top of that to consume the data. And then Databricks and Unity Catalog can just connect to these data assets and then do all the magic that our customers do on the Databricks side to gain insights, to process machine learning frameworks on top of that, and then also to maybe then play back the insights that you have derived on the Databricks side back to Business Data Cloud, to the platform, to consume it with the visualization tools that you might require, meaning SAP Analytics Cloud, do the further on data modeling in SAP Data Sphere, and so on, which is very SAP-centric and in that way. But also one important use case that we see is, for example, also you might have integrated non-SAP data to a big extent, IoT data and so on, maybe via the Databricks part, with all those connectors that Databricks provides, etc. But then you want to bring the data together with the SAP data, and process those. That is then as easy as never before, as you will just read SAP data, integrate it, share it with your Unity catalog, and then combine the data and mesh it up and create common and understandable business models out of that. And that holds true, of course, for everything that is SAP managed. So we will provide this data as part of the platform as in form of data products, but you can also always integrate SAP data manually on the level that you would require, because you might have use cases where you would just require table-based, so very granular, just table-based data. Then you can also bring that data into the platform and create data products manually out of that, and then it follows the same methodology in the end. So what is a data product? And this is also very important to understand, that we are now introducing also a format. I just said that we had very heterogeneous system landscapes with ERP being in place, coming from the ABAP world, and the table-based structures that we had. So a sales order, a purchase order, and so on, they always were consisting, the business objects were consisting of various tables that would form a business object, right? So a sales order had a sales order header, a sales order item table, then a master data table, and then a business partner table, who was actually the recipient of that sales order, And that's something which brings quite some complexity into the game. And then we acquired, for example, SAP Ariba, and Ariba was a third-party technology that was built upon a complete different technology. So a sales order from Ariba was not really matching the sales order from ERP, from SAP. The same thing for the business partner for an HR use case. So we acquired SuccessFactors some years ago, and also here the employee, business object employee, was looking different than the business partner or employee that we had in our own data structure in ERP, right? And that brought complexity to it, and those of you who are operating more than one SAP system will understand the complexity that you would have in that kind of integration scenarios also. For analytical purposes, we are solving this now by harmonizing all business domains over the complete SAP system landscapes, meaning we can now compare an SAP ERP, S/4HANA sales order, together with an Ariba sales order, and so on and so forth. And this is basically what we are achieving now within Business Data Cloud by harmonizing all data models, by applying a combined semantics on top of these different data assets. We need to describe it in form of metadata. And now, as we are with Databricks here, it's very important that within our partnership with Databricks, also Databricks can now interpret and read that metadata. And not only that, Databricks can also create the same metadata also on external data that you might have integrated via the Databricks piece. And that's very important to understand. I don't need to talk about given capabilities like cataloging, governance features and functions, and so on, because that's something our customers require anyways. But a data product, basically, what does it consist of? And that's also a very easy example, which I already teased here. Yeah? So let's assume we do have a business object which is cost center, so quite a common business object in an ERP system. The cost center has a responsible, and most likely that responsible is, of course, also managed as an employee in your HR system. Yeah. So in our world, SAP SuccessFactors is the HCM solution, also cloud-based. And again, what I just described before is typically those data assets didn't match. And even when integrating data back and forth, you had to do mappings and so on and so forth. So what we are now doing, how do you know that the responsible for that cost center is also the employee John Doe 93 now in SuccessFactors, yeah, in one analytical platform? And what we did is we are now harmonizing all the data assets coming from all source systems in a semantical rich way by applying so-called annotations to those business objects, so that you can see that, for example, by the annotation of the workforce person OID, yeah, one domain model ID, we are attaching those annotations back and forth between the different business objects, so you can now consume those for analytical purposes out of the box. And consumption, as we are here on the Data and AI Summit, is also, of course, with Databricks, and you don't have to harmonize those data assets manually prior to processing it in Databricks. That's the important piece. Yeah? And you can also create your own data products with exactly those annotations and those semantics on the Databricks side itself, if you want. Yeah? Not limited to the SAP tooling behind that. And that's important to understand, and that's also a game changer which has never been out there before, yeah? Harmonizing the complete line of business suite data models and making them available ready for consumption on object store level with data share protocol, yeah, to be consumable by the tooling that our customers require. How does it look like? So when we are talking about those data products and the opportunities that this concept brings along, right? As you can see down here, the SAP source systems, and we do have some in here. S/4HANA is in the game, SuccessFactors, Concur, Ariba, and maybe others out of our intelligent spend and business network domain. They are all bringing data products, as I just said, automatically into the platform. For example, journal entries, sales orders, yeah, from Ariba, maybe spend analytics, in a very, let's say, source system-oriented way. We are then enhancing that one technically with Spark. We are enhancing those data products also into new data products which are more consumer-oriented. And consumer-oriented means meaningful to the business user. Yeah? So everything we are now doing is also with a strong focus on the business user that shall be able to use that data out of the box. And the business user is not only the reporting user, but also maybe the data scientist on the Databricks side who shall be easily consuming that data. But the really interesting thing is those derived data products, yeah, that are then out of the box being delivered as part of the platform to be consumed across line of business solutions, which you would have to join, to union, and to model basically manually. Yeah? For example, data that comes out of SuccessFactors and maybe Ariba to identify a correlation of maybe the impact of the training you are giving to your employees on their spend behavior in maybe the spend solution, which is Ariba here. Yeah? So again, something that we can provide as additional value on top of the platform, which in other cases you would have to model and to generate in a much more manual effort. Yeah? And here we are taking a look, what does make sense to our business users? and to our customers here, what are meaningful insights? And of course, that's not limited because we are providing the framework, we are providing as much content out of the box here because we know our data, of course. But of course, the framework is also a technical one that allows you to exactly do all these things also by yourself. What makes sense to you and your business in the end. And also maybe marketing effectiveness, if you see that, or this impact of training on spend behavior examples is then, in the end, maybe something you can benefit from out of the box, which you do not have to do manually then on the Databricks piece, but you are just consuming maybe that gold data product to combine it maybe with other data that you have in your enterprise, with Databricks, for example. On top of that, and that's something that is one part of the consumption, is we are exposing the data products for consumption in ready-to-use, what we call intelligent applications. And intelligent applications are of various nature. In this case, you can see an intelligent application for Cloud ERP, meaning for S/4HANA, which you can deploy out of the box. And this one is then consuming the data products that we have integrated on behalf of the customer, and with a mouse click you can basically install such an application and consume it without the need to do the integration manually, do the modeling manually, do the connection and the dashboard building manually, but everything comes out of the box. And again, that's a business context where we believe we can provide lots of benefits out of the box to our customers without the need to do things manually. So the end user can see, is there anything out of the box that can be useful? Then he can just deploy it. Everything else can be extended also based on the source data products that we have brought into the platform. And also an interesting use case where we are coming now to is also the combination with Databricks, as you will see. But that strategy, creating data products, ingesting them into the platform in object store technology, ready for consumption, we are following that approach for the complete SAP Business Suite. So all those source systems have the same methodology, bringing data into the platform for consuming, mostly out of the box if that fulfills your requirements. And this is now harmonized across the complete line of business suites that SAP provides. So in the end, how can this be leveraged out of the box? And this picture describes it basically. So we have SAP source systems. They are ingesting data into the platform, what we call SAP Foundation Service. That's just the engine room of the platform of Business Data Cloud. And that data is then the basis for models that you are creating on the, let's say, on the data warehousing layer. And the data warehousing layer is also then feeding up the consumption and BI tooling layer, which in our world is SAP Analytics Cloud. But again, also these custom data products that you might see here, and also the analytics content on the data warehousing layer, that's something we will provide out of the box because we think and we believe there's meaningful use cases behind that. But maybe that's not enough. SAP is a provider of standard software, meaning we are trying to provide a most broad common set of use cases which address the needs of most of our customers, of course, but every customer is individual. So you might also now need to extend and enhance exactly what SAP delivers out of the box, meaning the data products and the intelligent applications. It will probably, most likely, not be 100% fit. But again, we need to provide then a framework to also enhance that. And in the past, we had those frameworks already with SQL, maximum Python. But that was also not sufficient. Our customers wanted to enhance SAP data and those things that are delivered out of the box also with means of Proco data engineering ML tools. And for that one, they extracted data out with all the challenges described before. And that's not necessary any longer because we are now integrating Databricks. And this example describes on how, for example, we can now extend a pre-delivered set of data from the data product to the model. We are now enhancing that one, as you can see, via DataSphere. We are consuming then the same data product also in the Unity catalog in Databricks. You are doing all the magic there that you would require in order to generate those insights that you need. And then you can share that additional insight you derived in Databricks. you are then exposing that one again to the, let's say, standard delivered layer and consuming the story with that enhanced data set, and most importantly, in a zero-copy way. Yeah. So no back and forth replication of data to get insights and then maybe extending and enhancing an analytical dashboard according to your requirements, but you can now do that as part of the platform in zero copy without the need to create data redundancies, to create lots of integration challenges that go along with that, and so on and so forth. And that also holds true not only for SAP Databricks, as mentioned before, as part of the platform, but that also holds true when we are integrating our customers' legacy Databricks installations, because in the large enterprise segment, and I mean this event here also shows that in the large enterprise segment, there's a huge adoption of Databricks already in the market, and that's why we are integrating also our customers' Databricks instances with that platform in a very efficient way, also in a zero-copy approach. Yeah. But again, that's something that is, when we are discussing this globally with customers, that's super appealing to most of them. And basically, we often get asked why SAP has not introduced that maybe a couple of years earlier. Yeah, that's where it comes into one of those final pictures on how we have enhanced that business data fabric approach that we had in the past. We are overcoming challenges that we had in the past, mainly with data integration, mainly with TCO considerations of our customers, meaning everything was HANA-based. It did not scale to the requirements of our customers. We are now reusing also our customers' legacy investments in BW, for example, because what we are also doing, and that's what you can also see here, we are integrating BW as part of the platform, and we are also generating with automation and with tooling, we are generating data products into the object store out of our customers' BW installations. So they can gradually reduce the BW footprint over time until they can decommission it completely. Yeah? Because that's basically also the strategy SAP is following. BW is not a strategic product for us. It's basically a classical on-prem code stack based on HANA, based on ABAP, and we are now providing our customers a smooth transition, a smooth gateway out of BW by reutilizing and leveraging the investments that they have in those platforms. Because in the end, if you talk to global large enterprise customers, then we see BW installations of maybe 80 terabyte plus even in the market. And if you think about customers have invested maybe 20 years, 30 years in those BW installations, you cannot get away from those ones so easily. And this is the part to leverage also the highly curated BW data within those cloud-native modern frameworks, also incorporating Databricks capabilities on BW data in a way that was never out there before. That's the BW piece in there. And of course, we are also incorporating AI capabilities as part of the platform to leverage all the data that we have pre-integrated in form of data products into the landscape. And that's, of course, also the basis then, or the very strong basis for everything that's AI, including then the Databricks foundation that we have in place. That's a demo. I will quickly show you a short, very short demo on how that works in the system. And I hope that one is playing now. Not yet. Let me see. No, it's not playing. Not sure on how to launch the demo here now. But I think we are on the top of the hour anyways. Please join us in the SAP booth. There we can show you. There it works. Yeah. Yeah. That's the Business Data Cloud catalog that you can see here. That's the major entry point. And in the catalog, he is now installing the first intelligent applications that you can see here. Yeah? And also considering the source system landscape of a certain scenario here that our customers have. There you can see the data products that we expose as part of the catalog. And within that catalog, he's now looking for a data product, which is called cash flow, with a description. So that's everything on the Business Data Cloud side that you can see here now. Yeah? And now, and that's the interesting part, you can now share super easily that data product also with Databricks. Yeah, with a mouse click, you can basically make that data product from the SAP Business Data Cloud visible in your Unity catalog. You can incorporate that one then in the notebook processing, do all the magic on the Databricks side that you can see, and he is basically enhancing, based on the pre-delivered data product, he is enhancing then an insight that he wants then to also bring back to the analytical model again, and then also into the consumption within SAP Analytics Cloud again. But this demo is basically to show you the very seamless handshake between the SAP data on the one side and the Databricks technology on the other side, without any integration or middleware needed to bring the data from A to B, but you are just consuming data in Databricks in a zero-copy way. Yeah? And also extending and enhancing then the models and the maybe BI tools and dashboards that you had that you are using in order to visualize that data. Yeah. There you can see what happens processing that data then in the notebook. And what you can then also do is you can create a data product again out of that insight that you have derived here. SAP compliant data product, brings that back into Business Data Cloud. It will again be visible in the catalog, and you can incorporate it again in the modeling with the tooling SAP provides. Yeah? But that's of course not a must. You can also use the data with other toolings that the Databricks environment provides. Yeah? Maybe you have a requirement to visualize that via Power BI. Yeah, that's also something that we see often in the market. Yeah. So again, that's something that is highly anticipated by customers, and we are inviting every one of you to come to the booth and maybe have a discussion with the colleagues, maybe see the demo in a more in a better way. Yeah. But that's what that is about: seamless handshake between SAP and Databricks, and also optimizing TCO for our customers, which are maybe coming from a legacy SAP on-premise world. Okay, I think the time is over now, and I hope you could understand what SAP Business Data Cloud and the strong partnership is about that we are bringing to the market here now. Yeah, and again, please feel free to reach out in case you have questions. Thank you.